In 2006, we took back the majority and we changed the way we do business in the nation's capital. I know we have a lot more to do, and that's why I think of last year as a down payment on change. Last year, we passed the most sweeping ethics reform since Watergate, with the freshman senators leading the way. We increased the minimum wage for the first time in a decade. We passed an energy bill that looks to the future for renewables and gives us the first increase in gas mileage standards since I was in junior high. And I have to tell you, I made a mistake at the press conference I stood. It was a bipartisan event to announce this historic gas mileage increase. I said, you know, this hasn't happened since I was in junior high. And then I was followed, as Claire can imagine, by two senior senators who both said they'd worked on the initial gas mileage standard. After years and years of the widows and orphans of the 9/11 tragedy lining the halls of Congress, holding those 9/11 Commission recommendations, this Congress was the one that passed those 9/11 recommendations. We brought back pay-as-you-go budgeting, despite the fact that the other side tries to undermine us every step of the way. And after years of neglect of consumer issues by this administration with toxic toys and substandard pool drains, we stepped in and passed what the Wall Street Journal calls the most sweeping consumer legislation in 16 years. And finally, I have to mention this because we're here in Minnesota, something that the old crowd never had the guts to do, and something that means so much for the people of our state and for millions of Americans living in the shadows of mental illness. Last week, the House of Representatives passed the Paul Wellstone Mental Health Parity Bill. Now, that's something that never would have happened with that old crowd in charge. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit more about another thing, and that's that we need change in the United States Senate. Because to get that new president's policies, we're going to have to need the votes to stop the endless stream of filibusters that we've gotten from the Republicans, 72, a record number, stopping everything that we want to do of key importance, and we need 60 votes to do that. And just where do you think we're going to get those votes? Well, let me give you a little map. You start in the Northeast, where Jeanne Shaheen is running well ahead of Senator John Sununu in New Hampshire. You go down to Virginia, where former Governor Mark Warner is so ahead of his opponent he can't even see him in the rearview mirror. You head west where you've got two cousins named Udall who are both running ahead in New Mexico and Colorado in Republican seats. And then you end right here in Minnesota, where that vote is right in this room. Now, what does adding these more votes to the United States Senate mean for the people of Minnesota? Well, let me make the math simple. It will take 5 more votes to negotiate lower-priced drugs for our seniors. It will take 4 more votes to override the president's veto on stem cell research and bring life-saving cures for Alzheimer's and cerebral palsy and all the diseases we've seen in this land. And it will take 3 more votes to pass Jim Webb's amendment to give our soldiers time home to rest that's commensurate with what they serve abroad. It will take 2 more votes to pass the Senate's comprehensive economic plan that invests in jobs and transportation infrastructure and economic investment that will last long after those rebate checks are cashed. And it will take, my friends, just 1 vote to pass a comprehensive energy bill that will end the giveaways to the big oil companies and put them in the hands of renewables like wind and solar and geothermal that we need to truly get to energy independence. With 60 votes, or even close to 60 votes, Claire and I can accomplish what you sent us to Washington to do, and with 60 votes, we can start to bring those combat troops home from Iraq now. This is real change, and it starts here.